So Somalians are trying to drag black Americans into their fight. Check this out.
But Trump based his order on a report whose author has made it clear that his goal is to denationalize and deport as many Somali Americans as possible. This is not about crime. It's not about safety. This is about purging people like me from this country. Minnesota has always been a welcoming place for people fleeing a home country that is blasted by war, poverty, and hunger. Europeans in the 19th and 20th century, black Americans from the South, Hmong.
That was a call for allyship, and they threw the race card out there. We're all black. What happened to I'm not black, I'm Somalian? And what happened to the call to allyship when y'all was scamming Minnesota out of hundreds of millions of dollars? They only pull out the race card when it's beneficial to them, because before this, they'll tell you, you're jealous because Somalians are driving Priuses. And there's no allyship when they taking advantage of all these government assistance programs, HUD, public housing. They're not going to let you in their building that they're in. And these are the same people that will tell you, if you black American Somalians will say, hey, my people came over here in planes and your people came over here in shackles and chains. Keep that same energy. I respect that. Since me and my peoples came over here in shackles and chains in a ship, I'm porting my ship right here. This is where I'm going to port my ship. Don't use black as a race card. Don't use black when it's beneficial. Keep that same energy. You not black, you Somalians. You keep that same energy. Because when it's time to benefit off these government programs, like housing, all that stuff, they lock other people out. They don't care about nobody else but their own people. So why you yelling allyship now?
Hello guys, welcome back. You've just saw those clips and you probably already feel the tension, and it's hard not to, because for years Somalis have been very clear, not just in Minneapolis, not just in Minnesota, not just in the United States, but across communities everywhere. And they've said, we are not black, we are Somali. And they've distanced themselves from the black community, spoken openly about it, and sometimes even mocked black Americans.
Most of the people that we meet, especially African Americans, they don't even know their fathers. They don't even know their fathers. It was all of them, most of them were the product of one night stand. One night stand. They would tell you, I don't know my father. Well, who named you? Whose name are you carrying? Well, my mother chose his name for me. I don't know. Is that what we want for our ummah? No.
And now, suddenly, reality has shifted. Deportations are starting, legal cases are unfolding, and the same people who once rejected black identity are turning back and asking black Americans for help and support. We'll get into all that. So it's a lot to process, and that's why this topic has the internet talking. People are remembering the words, the videos, the attitudes, and now seeing appeals for solidarity, for unity, and for intervention. And you know why this is so heated? Because black Americans aren't forgetting. Actions always have consequences, and words have consequences. And history has a way of catching up.
Hi, so I just really want to make this video from like a human space. This is something I've been really meaning to say, and I'm so glad that I can finally articulate it to you guys. So I'm Somali. I grew up in Minnetonka. I've been raised here my entire life. I am born here and I've lived here. I've studied here. I'm a pre-med. I do research, and that's usually the type of stuff I talk about on my page. But right now I feel like it's really important for me to say this. What I'm going to say is that I have been getting so many messages telling me to go back to your country, go back to your country. But the reality of the situation is the United States is the only country I've ever known my entire life. And the thing is, the great irony of it all is I'm not the ambassador of Somalia. I don't speak for Somali people. I'm not a spokesperson for this community. I'm just one young person trying to study, navigate life, and live like any other 20-something-year-old living here in this state. And so something that I feel like is going on is that there's a lot of immigrant people and first-gen, second-gen kids like me with this weight on our shoulders trying to explain everything going on in our communities, trying to defend our communities. But I'm really no different from any other 20-something-year-old trying to make it here in this state, in this country, in this world. And so I'm sharing this because I really feel like a lot of us are being treated this way and dealing with this quietly. But the reality is we aren't symbols. We aren't some type of ambassador. We are just human beings.
Let's talk about why Somalis say, oh no, we're not black. As a Somali who does claim her blackness, I want to explain this with love. Because that statement comes from history, survival, and sometimes pain. First, Somalia isn't a part of the Western world. In Somalia, a deeply homogenous community, there's no reason to say you're black. Everyone looks like you. For example, like Nigeria, people identify by tribe or nation, not race. Race, as a qualifier especially, only becomes relevant to most Africans when they leave their country and step into a world that sees them through that lens. During colonization, Europeans didn't just divide our land, they divided our identities. Somalis were mistakenly told, "Ooh, you look different, you're closer to Arab, you're better." Those lies that were told by whiteness seeded the anti-blackness that still lingers today. And because Somalia was not colonized in the exact same way as other African countries, many Somalis grew up thinking that blackness was synonymous with oppression, something to escape, not embrace. But Western propaganda is global, honey. So in the same way that they show African Americans or all Americans in general that Africans are barbaric and starving, they show African Americans to the rest of the world as lazy thugs who are not to be trusted, violent. Many Somalis arrive here as refugees and want to rebuild their lives and think, if I distance myself from this label, maybe I'll be safe. There's still no excuse. My own mother, who struggles with anti-blackness and hates my dark skin, would always tell me, don't be a yo-yo, don't be a yo-yo. It's pure ignorance, but it stems from fear and lies. Here's the truth. African Americans are the moral backbone of this country. Every right, every protection, every piece of good experience that you are having in America was built through their blood, sweat, and tears. Their resistance, their strategic organizing, their sacrifice, it's the only reason why we have a foothold here today. And as much as Somalis want to say, "Oh, why do you care about black issues?" It's because I'm in gratitude, and they deserve reverence and solidarity, not distance and disdain. So if you hear a Somali say, "I'm not black," "I'm not black," "I'm not black," so embarrassing. Don't get offended. Pray for them. They're wrestling with a lie that's literally older than them. A lie that was designed to keep us divided. And remember, no matter how lost we are or how far we run, we're still all one.
Alright, now that you've seen all those clips, let's really talk about it. First of all, it's important to recognize the pattern here because for decades, some, not all, or rather most Somalis have made it very, very clear they don't identify as black. And they've said it in public statements, in videos, even in sermons. That distancing created tension because black Americans who have historically faced discrimination and fought for recognition and solidarity watched from the sidelines as Somali openly rejected the community. Now, the tables have turned. Deportations are happening, especially targeting Somali in Minneapolis. And suddenly, the same people who rejected black identity are appealing to black Americans for help. And they're involving the black Americans. They want support. They want advocacy. They want unity. And understandably, that is creating a lot of strong reactions online. And people are asking, how do you expect solidarity after years of rejection? And it's not just emotional, it's practical. These are real communities, real legal issues, and real families facing consequences. But at the same time, the plea for help is human. People are scared and they are looking for allies where they can find them. And that's why this conversation is so complex. It's not about being cruel. It's not about dismissing humanity. It's about accountability, as I always say, and consistency. You can't mock, you can't distance or disrespect a community for years and then expect unconditional support when the stakes are high. And at the same time, watching these clips remind us of the power of perspective. Many Americans are shocked, they are frustrated, and even angry at some point. Well, some are empathetic, recognizing the fear and uncertainty these families face. And that mix of reaction, outrage, disbelief, even concern is exactly why this story is gaining attention. So guys, what do you think about all this? Should solidarity override past disrespect, or should history and accountability matter here? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you haven't already, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more trending stories just like this one. My name is Amy. I appreciate all of you for sticking around, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay blessed.